So with Crossover Breakers coming out next month and with every intention to shake the format up, I have been wondering to myself, do we really need a ban list to fix the current state of the game, or should we just let the newer set change it up instead? I mean, Crossover Breakers is definitely one of the most impactful set we will be looking at for the 2025 season. So it might single-handedly change Yu-Gi-Oh! To the point where we could let all the currently existing decks survive and it wouldn't be too bad. On the flip side though, if we do not have a ban list, maybe the current decks are gonna be so good that decks like Raziel and Malice will not be able to thrive. That would not only be bad for Konami's business interests as they want to promote their newer set by giving players an incentive to play the new decks, but also it would be bad for people who are tired of playing the current format as virtually nothing would change for them. Alright, so first things first, let's discuss the possibility of an upcoming ban list. So according to patterns I noticed from previous ban lists, they usually happen every 3 to 4 months, so I'm just gonna average it out to like 3.5 months. The last ban list was effective on September 2nd, so I will simply assume that the next ban list is gonna be anywhere between like mid-December to like early January. So Crossover Breakers comes out on December 5th for the TCG, and YCS Anaheim is that very same weekend of the set release. There are no YCSs announced in January, although we will be getting the next core set, which is Supreme Darkness, on late January. And then the very first YCS of the 2025 season is going to be YCS Orlando on February 1st, and by that time we would have for sure obtained our ban list. With that said, I sincerely doubt that the ban list will be happening between Supreme Darkness and YCS Orlando, because otherwise people will have like no time to playtest and theory and everything. Therefore, I'm gonna believe that the ban list will be before Supreme Darkness so that people will know exactly what they want to get out of that set. For example, it wouldn't be clever to murder the Snake Eyes deck after the release of Supreme Darkness because the deck is getting really good support in that set. And no, I'm not talking about the new Snake Eye cards, but rather something else, but if you smash the like and subscribe button, maybe I'm also gonna share the goo. Anyways, like I said, the Snake Eye deck is getting very good support in Supreme Darkness, and banning it would not really make too much sense. Instead, I actually think that we'll have a ban list to be closer to what the OCG got. So for example, Bonfire to 1, Wanted to 1, I think that's fair game. Now you might be thinking, but Yak Sign, Bonfire to 1 is unfair for Raziel because it's also a starter for them. Well, you're not wrong, Bonfire is actually a starter for Raziel, but also I don't think it's too much of a big deal because the Raziel deck can also just wait until Maze of the Master in February for 7 Tachyon. So what I'm trying to say is, it could be very easy for Konami to just milk the Raziel players as much as possible with the new set releases, since the next 3 sets all have Raziel support in them. Crossover Breakers in December is introducing the deck to the TCG, so obviously it's Raziel support, and then Supreme Darkness is going to be giving us Twins of the Eclipse, which is really good for the deck. And then of course Maze of the Master has 7 Tachyon, which is kind of like a 6 of, because you can also play the 7th Ascension or something like that in order to search the Tachyon. And 7 Tachyon can also search Artifact Lancia, so yeah, imagine searching that against Malice. Now from a business perspective, it is in Konami's interest to do everything in their power to promote the Raziel deck as much as possible, but also all the upcoming products to the best of their ability. Have you noticed something though? Konami is done supporting Yubel and Tenpai, and I think that these 2 decks will get murdered next list. I think both Phantom of Yubel and Chandra will both be getting limited, and it will actually hurt them. Okay, now let's drop the logic aspect aside and think a little more with our feelings. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, we ban every single currently existing decks to have a format reset. Then what? Then what happens is that Raziel and Malice will take over, and Konami will still be able to profit off of Raziel for the next couple of months. So in other words, even a format reset would actually be in Konami's interest. Now the thing is, there are tons of cool decks that are getting support on Supreme Darkness that could finally start to shine thanks to the combo decks being out of the picture for once. I'm talking about Speedroid, Crystron, Gladiator Beast, Any Sword Soul, Shark, and the list goes on. I'm not kidding when I say that Supreme Darkness is a total masterpiece from Konami, definitely one of the most interesting sets in a while. It has tons of competitive relevance, but also equally supports rogue decks, so I think that makes it one of the most balanced sets we have received in a while. I think Konami was getting a little tired of the format always revolving around hardcore combo decks making unbreakable boards, so they decided to shift the format to mid-range style instead. This is exactly why it is preferable to have Raziel as the promoter of the game rather than something like Yubel or Snake Eyes. Because those combo decks are fun and all, but they don't necessarily show the best aspects of the game every single time. You just make big boards, billions of negates, it looks beautiful to look at, but there is like very little interaction. On the other hand, with a deck like Raziel, there is a lot of back and forth because it takes forever to kill your opponent, and you don't necessarily win just because you went first. The deck is overall very fair, there's no Omni negates, so you can actually get your board picked apart going second. And also, despite the fact that the deck is like extremely good in the OCG and like tier 0 in a way, the deck is still very fair. Now, the good news is, I believe that even if the current top tier decks do not get a hit, well, Raziel will still be able to overshadow them eventually. I don't think it'll happen as soon as crossover breakers will come out, since we can't really compare like full power combo decks to like semi full power Raziel. But like as soon as Raziel will be getting Twins of the Eclipse and 7 Tachyon, they'll have all the gas they need in order to completely become the undisputed best deck. I still think that we'll be getting a Banlist in January, like I said, but not only do I not think it is a complete necessity, I don't even think the Banlist will be that impactful. I think we'll just get like very small hits such as Bonfire, Wanted, Phantom of Yubel, and Shunshretta 1, and yeah, those are probably going to be the only real relevant hits in the ban list. Again, that's because the decks we currently have are just going to get naturally power crept by future decks. And the thing about mid-range decks is that when they're good, they can kind of keep combo decks in check because they can play so many hand shabs that combo decks kind of struggle to be able to do much of anything. Anyways, let me know if you feel the same or even if you feel different about the state of the game and also the future of the game. Do you think we need a complete format nuke, or do you think we will get a small or even no ban list at all until Supreme Darkness? I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.